Hey, folks, welcome back to the Tiger Sports Show. My name is Greg Mays, and I'm here with my co host and brother who says he from now on wants to be referred to as Mr. Positivity. How are you doing, Mr. Positivity?
Mr. Tired.
Mr. Positivity. All right, well, let's get going quick because you're tired. It's winter, it gets dark early. We got to get going. So let's talk wrestling first. The wrestlers are still rolling. Beat Ground Northwest last night. Trent, you got to always like that when we beat the Vikings, huh?
It's like hanging 50 on them. They beat them by at least they doubled them up. So
49-24. You're right. You're right. So that was a good dual win. That duel has been a big duel in recent years. Northwest has a state championship in recent history, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And then
they're led by their young kids. Got them started. The two freshmen, Zane Thompson, little name drop. So
yeah,
and then another Frosh, and then their middleweights are where the strength is, and they're glad they can fill out all the weights. So we're looking for good things from the wrestlers. Once the new year, they got Fracas coming up, so they have a big.
I got a good quote from Coach Laux about the Fracas in a minute, but first I want to talk about the Omaha South results. Tigers went to Omaha South and dominated that tournament again, nearly doubled up second place Fremont. That's hard to do in a tournament. We had, I've got 7 champions: Emmett Kelly, Braden Court, Tucker Adams, Cameron Brumbaugh, Drake Anderson, EJ Johnson, and Landon Widener. And I got a confirmation on Landon interview after Christmas. So we're going to have Landon on the show. You want to hear what Coach Laux said about the Fracas, Trent?
What did Coach Laux say? Drop some knowledge on me.
This is a direct quote. I asked him how things have been going. He said, we've been doing pretty well, but we'll find out how tough we are Friday at the Fracas.
Oh, yeah. The Fracas is a grind.
Do we know who's in our pool?
No.
No, not yet.
No, no. Court was named Outstanding Wrestler. So
at Omaha South?
Yeah, at Omaha South. So 2 straight. Widener was named Outstanding Wrestler the week before. Court beat the Class A number 1 in his weight class and beat him pretty good. So Widener won it the week before. Oh, Brumbaugh was at Cozad. Little voice
he was the wrestler of the meet at Cozad. Yeah, the boys, very, very good wrestling team. Sky high hopes for them, of course. But we got the girls wrestlers going too, Trent. And we got 4 wrestlers who did pretty well in the Fairbury duel. Of course, those girls are practicing and competing with Adams Central. And I'm not a big fan of their singlets, Trent. Have you seen them?
Yeah, I saw some pictures from Coach Linden last night.
They are very star-spangled. But we had some girls doing very well. Esmeralda Aguirre's kind of our leader. She's a junior. And then we got 3 freshmen, I think.
Yeah.
3 freshmen. Ashlyn George, Crystal Aguirre, and Jennifer Lopez. And they, along with the AC girls, of course, teaming up in the co-op, beat Fairbury 60-12 the other day.
They won their first match pretty big, too, their first duel. So good things from the ladies.
Yeah, great things on the wrestling mat. All right, well, we'll have the update on that Fracas in just a little bit, I think. But I wanted to get some other updates in. Of course, fall sports honors are coming through. We had a set of 3 honorable mentions in both volleyball and football. In volleyball, Mary Howie, Carly Beckby, Lainey Benson. Carly, of course, is a senior, but Mary and Lainey will be back next year. And in football, Joe Rodriguez, no surprise there. Carlos Espino and Cooper Cole. So a couple underclassmen there. What? Carlos a junior and Cooper a sophomore, Trent, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. Junior? No wonder she's not in my class.
Who?
All right, the producers tells me that Beckby's just a junior, so all 3 of those girls will be back.
Oh, that's good.
I thought she was a senior. All right, well, that's exciting. All right, now on to the sport you know so well, Coach. I got my shirt, by the way.
I got my shirt and my sweatshirt
with your name on the back.
I asked Miss Douglas if we can wear them at State on Monday.
Oh, good idea.
And she gave me a weird look, and she said, State's over. But I said, you get your shirts, and then you wear them to State on Monday. So
It's too
Right.
quick a turnaround for Unified Bowling. That was
Well,
maybe
it was
the fastest districts to state turnaround I've ever heard of.
well, we would have had them if we would have done it on the Tuesday. So
Gotcha.
the delay hurt us.
Yeah, weather delay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got bowling news from the regular Tiger bowling team, which is up going here. Some of the Unified folks joining up with their teammates, and we held the Tiger Invite here. The boys went 2-1, made it to semifinals where they lost, but the girls all the way to the finals and finished second in the Tiger Invite. Trent, you said you went over and watched a little bit.
Yeah, I went over to watch the girls. The boys lost to Papio. When I got there, of course, they give me a hard time, the Unified Bowlers do, because that's what they do, and that's what most every kid in the building gives me a hard time about, just life in general, and about me being me. But yeah, right when I left, they got hot. They bowled a 921. Ethan Corselis had a 240 range, which was good. It's pretty impressive to get up to 921 for a Baker series. And they just ran into some hot teams. There's a lot of teams there. Pastime was hopping that day, and the girls did awesome getting to the finals, and the boys just ran into look like a little bit of a buzzsaw in the semis. So
that's awesome that Tiger Bowling is getting that many teams in here to compete. We're only our second year of bowling, right?
Yep.
Second year of bowling. Well, this week's schedule gets even better. People can get out to Pastime tomorrow in honor of Coach Mays' birthday. They're hosting the Arapahoe Warriors.
Yeah, definitely.
And then Grand Island Northwest early next week, I think. So we got a couple of days coming. Yeah, on Tuesday. And then over the holiday break, the bowlers have a holiday bowling meet at Lincoln Pius X, 1 day of JV and 1 day of varsity. All right. Any other bowling news, Trent?
I know they're an interesting cast of characters. We'll just put it that way, and they always make it fun to go watch. And
that's what they say about you too, Trent.
Yeah, everybody says that. I'm here to make people laugh. That's my job at that school. So, and they're just getting better. I know the boys are pretty deep. The girls have probably their top 3 bowlers back. So we're looking for big things, and I'm going to head out to watch a little Arapahoe hopefully tomorrow.
All right. Well, after kind of a week where we didn't play Lincoln Northwest in basketball on Friday because they weren't playing varsity, how'd the JV teams do? Both JV boys and girls beat the Falcons of Lincoln Air Park, as I refer to them, Trent. And then on Saturday, kind of ran into a buzzsaw. The number 1 teams in the state on both the boys and girls side from Scott Catholic came down and took a couple wins. So the varsity teams are both still looking for their first wins. And they split up this week, Trent. Do you know who the boys play?
They play Sydney.
They play Sydney. How many games are there in the history of Hastings High versus Sydney boys basketball?
0.
You are correct, sir. This is the first ever. We don't run into those very often unless they, totally make up a new school like Lincoln Air Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, if Air Park would have showed up varsity, we could have had 2 straight games.
Oh yeah, that would have been cool.
Well, that's over at Hastings College. It's part of the Prep Classic over there. Lots of good games. I think those are Friday.
Saturday?
Yeah. Oh, Saturday. And on Saturday, the girls head to Elkhorn. Got to go all the way to Elkhorn. Ooh. Yeah.
So when they go back to Blair on Tuesday, Vanderpool's just got them staying the couple nights.
They can take their finals in Omaha.
Take their finals in Omaha.
Take their finals at the Embassy Suites in Omaha. That's what I say.
That's 2 tough trips, and it's going to get really cold. So
yeah, 2 tough trips. But I tell you, Elkhorn, I'm interested to see the girls go up against them. Trent, I watched Elkhorn last night at York, and Elkhorn is not a high-powered scoring team. So they're not going to run away. So I'm kind of counting on the girls to go get that one done in Elkhorn. I don't know anything about the Sydney boys.
I know somebody else that went to York last night.
I didn't go to York.
Oh.
I tuned in through the magic of the internet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. On my own TV. It was pretty cool. I didn't even know how to do it till last night. I watched like 6 different basketball games last night.
Wow.
You want to hear how the Deschler Donovan boys game went?
Donovan's pretty good.
Yeah, it didn't tip till 8:15. Those
Oh,
little small school 4-bangers.
yeah.
Tuesday night, 8:15.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's
I
when
hope
you gotta. That's when you call no fouls in the JV game.
I tell you, there were 2
Middle
fouls in the
JV
first like
game.
15 seconds. I turned it off. I couldn't take the carnage anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Donovan was going to handle him. Deschler was really young. All right, let's see. That's enough basketball news. Swimming had their duel with Kearney the other day, but they've got a big meet. They're heading to Lincoln Southeast, one of my favorite pools in the state, right there in the school. You know, you walk down the hallway and you see it down there. So diving, I think, is Friday, and swimming is Saturday for Coach Scribb's group. Do they have something over the holiday?
I don't think so.
Yes, they do.
Oh,
Omaha West Side.
wow.
West Side.
So I have a news source about the pool temp. Any guesses on what it is?
The pool temp is, well, you know, what would it be in Miami Beach? Miami Beach, it would be about 71 degrees. So I'm going to guess 71 degrees.
My news source says it's at 83 degrees. They've
Ooh,
increased the temperature.
that's better than Miami Beach. All right.
And that's
I don't
actually
really
a
know the
news
water
source
temperature.
because my other source has failed me. So I have a news source.
All right. Well, I think that handles all the sports. I do have a little news out of debate. I don't have the details yet, but Miss Fajardo very happy with how the debate team did at Lincoln High last
were
weekend.
sick.
And then what?
They were sick that week. I saw
Oh, yeah?
a post for
Yeah.
recap. They were sick, but they performed pretty well against some
Yeah.
bigger schools. So
The week before, she said they did very well against 16 schools at Millard West. And you got to remember, it's always big schools. Hastings is
yeah.
the smallest school in the state, still doing debate.
How many schools have debate? Let's put you on the spot. I know.
I think it's 21.
How many schools outside of Lincoln or Omaha?
2.
Yeah. Do you know the other one?
Norfolk.
Yeah. Good guess.
Because my brother already asked me that question on another show.
Oh, okay. Oops.
But I got it right on that show, too.
Ah.
All right. All right. I think that's the runaround.
Then I have a baseball update. Coach Marquardt said they're not practicing outside today.
They're not outside today. I tell you that, Coach Marquardt, you know, he's a genius.
I told him he needed to get his long johns on for practice today. He says, I ain't going outside for practice.
Toughen him up a little bit. That's what I say.
But they'll start throwing after Christmas. So that's what
All right. Well,
them.
when Tiger pitchers and catchers report, Trent, I'm going to want to hear it.
Well, because we never have had a show during baseball. He's always asking, what about this little show you guys do? I said, well, it usually dies out about mid-November. So,
oh, just for that, we're going to do it live from Duncan Field, aren't we?
We should. I'll go sit at Duncan.
All right.
That's my place. I love that place.
Duncan Field.
It's
all
probably it's probably big enough. We could go sit in the power alleys and be on the field.
I want to do mine from the old Jack and Jill outside. That's where I'm going to do mine from.
You could do it from the
roof. In the stadium. I'll be over at the old Jack and Jill. All right. Well, speaking of history, we've got some more numbers to go through. We've got kind of our high numbers on the poster. So we want to go through. These are all a surprise for Trent. So we're going to see if Trent can tell me any stories about these guys. What's the first one we've got here? Oh, number 62. You remember this fella?
I know that guy. He played 2 years in junior high. He was a beast.
Now,
he wore 62 in junior high, too.
That's not because he had to repeat the 8th grade. He played in 7th and 8th grade. I want to defend Steve.
I think he started both years on A team, too. He was a solid kid and good guy.
Good job of keeping his weight low and bringing the punishment. Yep, a good lineman. One of my favorite offensive linemen, Steve Anderson, wearing 62 for the Tigers. All right, who's next? Oh, how about this fella?
Now that guy I'd rather hit you than look at you. That's that guy right there. That's Trent. That's a namesake. So of course he's one of my favorite guys. Pulling on counter sweep, 26-27.
Hey, you know, the thing I remember about Trent is my first impression is this guy, he's a little bit out there. Yeah. He's a little out there. But on a football team, you need a couple of those guys. I remember he was a defensive lineman, just a defensive lineman with a great motor.
Yeah, in high school he did, but Yeah, he could pull in that counter sweep. You put some of those games up. I was watching when we destroyed somebody, we were running counter sweep all day. So
The way I remember it, we destroyed everybody all the time now, Trent. In the
yeah.
old days, you don't have to remember the losses.
Well, we played pretty well that day. We were
You're
scoring like
still
crazy.
coaching, so you got to remember the losses. Me, they're all gone.
George Campos was running counter sweep and Augie, so it was a
Yeah,
lot of fun to watch that game.
that was a good
And then
bunch of
the
kids.
announcer, whoever our announcer was, she was highly
Nancy Bishop,
invested. Yeah, she
former
was highly
senior high
invested in
counselor,
the
Nancy
game.
Bishop. Yep. All right, let's get to a new number.
Oh,
Oh, do you know this guy, Trenner?
I ate lunch with this guy. I was there when he was tiny. He's all-state lineman. I went to high school with him, graduated together, walks on at the university, becomes a starter. Now he weighs like 188 pounds, and he's a firefighter in Oregon.
Nice.
And he
Great
has
guy.
he has a
Great
bunch of
student.
kids that play football.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Of course, started for a national championship team at Nebraska. Yeah, just an amazing athlete. Wore number 70 for the Tigers.
Yeah, and I watched him when he was just chowing down 4 milks and a couple mains. This was before you got to pick what you wanted. This is when you had to get, and he was just ordering extras. And he's a good guy, and then goes to the university, just a hard worker for coach, and uh, did all that stuff with the national championship. So,
Hey, notice those jerseys. The John Purgey, one Tiger.
oh, I
One
know
Tiger.
those are jerseys. I remember I had a jersey, and then somebody got mad and took it back.
Well, you stole it,
They
Trent.
didn't need
You
that
can't talk about
jersey.
that on live TV.
They didn't need that jersey. It was 69 anyway. Who wears 69?
Well, nobody. We didn't have a number 69. All right, who's next?
Oh,
Wally Hopp. Oh, man,
Uh-oh.
the balls are ringing.
What is
Wally
it?
Hopp,
4.
1940, quarterback on the state championship team. Also, pretty good basketball player, though he didn't finish the senior year. There was some story up in Norfolk. A bunch of seniors went up there on the team and they came back not on the team. But also a pretty good track athlete. I think one conference meet, he won like one of the sprints, one of the hurdle races, and the shot put.
If I'm right, his nickname was Hassa.
Hassa, yep,
Yeah.
Hassa.
And not Hippity. I knew that. So.
Yeah, he went to the university. Of course, another famous Hopp brothers. He rode the train out to the Rose Bowl, that famous Nebraska Rose Bowl team, first ever bowl team at Nebraska.
They just had the World Herald just had a piece on the train that that Amtrak scheduled special for Nebraska. I
tell you,
that.
those were the days, Trent. I'd still be coaching if you could take trains to the games.
Yeah, I just saw that pop up on one of my news feeds. I haven't gone in to read it, but would you say he was a do everything on the 40 team?
Well, he was the star.
Yeah.
Vern Steiner was on there too. He was a big deal. A couple All-Staters. Big win over North Platte on Thanksgiving to seal their share. They shared it with Omaha Tech and Creighton Prep, I think, who had tied. They weren't undefeated like we were. Great team.
They just ran teams over when I remember looking that team up in the Tribunes. They just ran through teams, over teams, and around teams. And they played really good defense.
Who else we got?
Oh,
well, how about this fella, Trenner?
When you talk about I'd rather hit you than look at you, well, look at that face. That's Justin May, and he's a big dude, and he liked to hit people, so.
Wouldn't even smile for the photographer there.
Well, that's not – you didn't do that when Olson was there. You had to look mean and ready to go.
I do like that for the photo, Justin was willing to wear a T-shirt under his cutoff jersey instead of getting the belly out like in game.
Justin never wore no T-shirt. That thing was hanging, and he was pulling on counter sweep, and he'd rather hit you than look at you.
Pretty good defensive lineman, too.
Yeah, we'll probably see another one of his running mates pretty soon.
He played down at UNO when they still had football.
Yeah.
All right, who's next? All right, Tom Emel. I believe was a transfer in from Lincoln Northeast and played a couple years for the Tigers and was an all-stater wearing number 75. So he's my 75 pick. I don't have any good junior high stories about Tom Emil because as old as I am, I wasn't around for that.
Well, I don't know. You could have been.
How about this fella?
I know him. That's the rig. He was the big rig. And he's state champion wrestler. He went.
I'm not sure he's a state champion, Trim, but he's a pretty good wrestler.
Oh, he went to Penn. He played football at the University of Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Penn. He was working on Wall Street for a while. He coaches football in Montana.
Nice.
And he's a broker.
I knew he moved to Montana.
Yeah, he has kids, and he's a football coach. I think it's Glacier. I follow him on social media. They do a lot of fun stuff. So, and just a good kid.
Great kid.
2 years in middle school or junior high for us. Started both years on A team.
Smart kid, smart.
Yeah, he went to Ivy League, so he's got to be smart. And then all state football. Just a good guy, and he's one of those. He had a game face, and then he had his regular face because that guy don't look like he's gonna hurt. That guy means business, but he ain't gonna hit you there rather than look at you.
You weren't scared of this one.
No, but when you got him on the field, you're ready to go because he was going to run you over, and he ran me over a couple of times in junior high. So,
all right, let's see who's next. Oh, John Uden, big, tough lineman from my first year back here as an assistant coach, Coach Rebarger. Yeah, all-state football player. He was easily our best lineman that year. Very good team. Remember, we lost Crete. And then we lost the season finale to Seward.
They ran the weird play that had the cat in it.
Yep.
And then
we were 7-2. Yeah. And in the playoffs, we drew Seward the next week on Halloween and just blew them out.
Yeah.
And then we're 8-2. Did we win another one before we went into McCook?
No, that was the next game was McCook.
Yeah, McCook was pretty good.
That was fun because Seward thought they were all cool and they ran the fancy cat play and they thought they were hot stuff. And then we squashed the cat play the next week. And we ended up playing that game at home.
Tyler Frank was quarterbacking. Niall Schneider. I tell you, we lost that Seward game at Seward, but I've never seen a high school kid bait a quarterback like he did. He baited him. Like, hey, look, this guy's open. And as soon as he threw it, Niall was scoring.
Yeah,
it was an amazing play. I thought he was going to win that game for us. But John Uden was the anchor of both the lines on that 2000.
They ran option, wishbone, I think, and
a little bit wingbone, double wing. Yeah. All right, let's see who's next.
David Biede, we got 2 77s.
Yep, he went to school with Tater. Yeah, David was good junior high basketball player for me. I remember he had a huge game last week of the season. We had lost to Kearney. We had lost to Columbus. We had to play them both at the end of the year, and we had to beat them both to go 500. And David had a big week. He could guard anybody. Just did a really nice job and turned into a state champion football player on that 94 team. He was all state. He was a big player.
He's only return. And then we didn't have hardly any returning linemen. And he stepped up. They had the young juniors step up, Adam Young and Nick Brown, and he was the anchor for that team. And then defensively, that as much as our offense did great things in the playoffs, the defense was the story because I remember when they were getting yelled at by Coach O in the locker room at Crete, and they just came out and destroyed them in the second half because we had to own the line of scrimmage, and we weren't doing that. But then the McCook game, they just ran McCook over. That
wasn't a contest. That state championship game. David, another example of playing smart kids in the offensive line can go a long ways for you. Yeah, another smart fella.
Don't put it up. I have a premonition. His name is Downtown Larry Brown.
Is that who's next?
Better be.
Oh, it's the GRIZZ.
Oh, it's the GRIZZ.
It's Adam Kistler. I can't believe you'd be dissing Adam Kistler.
I can't believe the GRIZZ is still the GRIZZ.
Yep.
He had the fan club. And
of course he did.
The fan club might have put the sign up when he graduated.
Yeah.
There
I
might have been
remember when
cars
somebody was
around
eating
him.
lunch in his car every day.
Yeah, and Tate had well, we can put this out there now.
No,
He
we
gave
can't. We can't. You can't say that.
what?
That the Tate was breaking into his car every day and
He had the
leaving
keys.
trash.
He had keys
Oh, okay. So having keys makes it
because
okay.
they coached soccer together.
Yeah.
Adam had to leave. Adam was coaching. Tate just sat there, and Adam gave Tate his keys and didn't ask for them back. That's on
Adam,
Adam.
one of the best kids I've ever taught and coached. Just
And he was a hard worker in football. We had the shirts that said "We want GRIZZ." We celebrated his graduation with a sign. He might have got mad at us. We
all
spent
right.
a lot of money on that sign.
I think now we go downtown.
Yeah.
What do you remember about Larry Brown?
I remember when he made the sack that forced the kick, and then we blocked it against Kearney High, and we went. It was 8-0, just not 8-0, because downtown breaks through, sacks the Count of Monte Cristo.
He just swallowed Monty.
Yeah,
He
and
just
then
swallowed. Monty was there, and then he wasn't.
Yeah, and then Larry swallowed him, but then we're lucky he didn't get the miracle pitch off.
Yeah, well, he was a good quarterback. Monte Cristo was.
Yeah, and then downtown, two-way lineman.
Yeah.
He had the Lincoln Southeast was huge. They had Ted Butler, All-Stater, Division I. He probably went up against Ted at state in the finals. That's another guy. He'd rather hit you than look at you. So
yeah, and he was one of those guys, along with Justin May and along with the fullback, Trent, help me.
Oh, Wiesman,
Kelly Wiesman, and those guys who established the weight room as Hastings football. I was just reading the other day that preview article they did 2 years later after we'd won 2 in a row, and they're talking to Coach Olson about the program, and he talked about those kids in junior high showing up at 7 o'clock in the morning to lift. And Coach Olson opened that weight room, and then I took it over the next year. That was my first year. Coach Olson gave me a lot of credit for it in that article, but it was really all him. He was down there. He'd head to the junior high and open the weight room, and then he'd come up here and teach all day, and then he'd coach. And that's how you build a program like he did. And Larry was just a little guy showing up at that weight room, and it paid off.
And then just the semifinal game against Kearney High, and the defense. Kearney High's band was on the field more than their offense was, and
that's what Stu said. Is that the greatest game in Hastings football history?
We may have. Well, I think it's pretty close. Well, if we start doing that, that'll be interesting.
All right, when we get to our Mount Rushmore of games, that's one we'll have to talk about. That was a great night over in Kearney, and Stu had a great
night. The first game, and I can't go because I'm on the newspaper staff at the college, but they all went to a lecture. They told me I had to stay back and work.
You weren't in Kearney?
No, I went to Kearney, but Papillion, I had to work.
Okay.
That was a Wednesday night. They're saying, well, you got to stay and do this.
My friend, don't be sassing your college newspaper.
Oh, I'll sass them all the time. They went out and went to that, and then they did some other things. And then I left after in the middle of the third quarter.
Let's go to the next one here.
I had to run, and I ran as faster than I've ever run before.
What do you got to say about this fella?
Schmeeckle?
Schmeeckle.
He's a good guy. He's a hard worker.
To me, he was the closest we've ever had to the nice label you put on people and call them a freak. Because his size, at his reach, to have the speed and the quickness and the agility he had was unreal. All-state footballer, just pretty incredible. I remember him winning a junior high football game for us. You remember over at Walnut?
Make a tackle?
We're down late. We're in trouble late. And
the punt.
We got to have a fumble recovery on the punt. It's like 4th and 900, so we can't go for it. We got to punt, but there's not enough time left. Plus, we're playing at Walmart at Walnut, where they don't have a clock, so we can't trust the referee. Stop the clock, right? So I go to Mark Anderson, the hockey player. Remember the kid who transferred up to Minnesota to play hockey?
I go to
Mark. I'm like, Mark, he's going to fumble this. He's going to fumble this punt, and you're going to recover it. And he runs down because it was the only way you could win. The kid fumbles it. Mark jumps on it. The next play, we ran our old. We had
Tight
this
end
tight
dump.
end cross thing that kind of went against the grain, and it put Schmeeckle on the other side. He started on the left, ended up on the right. We ran everybody left and threw it back to Schmeck, and Schmeck goes the distance to beat Walnut on what was really the last play of the game. I
Yeah.
think the referee called it. A great day.
Oh, I got the punt right. I knew that part.
It was a great day. I think that was also the day Zoe was in the huddle and I had to call a timeout because Grandma lost track of her.
Oh, yeah, that was the famous story when you had to go out and tell the ref that that was my kid.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he was a state runner-up in wrestling. He only wrestled his junior, senior year and was a state runner-up. Producer Tate was getting my attention there on that.
Well, but the Zoe story is you had to go out and apologize to the referee because she went and took the football, and then you're like,
well, he told me it was really nice of me to call a timeout.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I think I have to. She's my kid.
Yeah, and great grandma Mays, not even mom. Yeah, that was funny.
All right, who's next here? We got any more numbers? Oh my goodness, Trent. I was a little disappointed in you not bringing this guy up at number 40. How did you not put this guy on the list?
Why? What did you accomplish as a football player?
I was the 7th leading receiver in the state, Trent. You're all about stats.
Oh, that's true because Todd Kerr threw it all the time. I forgot about
I got a school record for 3 defensive touchdowns.
Yeah, I know. I gave you that. You can thank me for that. Well, and then you recovered the fumble in the mud at Beatrice. That's what I think your claim to fame is.
That was big. That was a big game. I played on the only winning record we had in a 30-year span. I played on that team.
And you beat GI in double overtime, I think. That was when that was when the crowd surrounded the north end zone at H. Jones. All the students from both sides all went around the north end zone, if I remember that right. Or that was the end overtime was in. I remember that.
It was. All right, we got anybody else on the numbers? Oh, how about this guy? This guy wore number 88 at Hastings High. I think I have a Marc Boerigter replica jersey up there. Yep, there it is.
Well, I'm trying to get a Chiefs replica jersey, but he won't send it to me.
Well, that's a real jersey. He's not going to send you a real jersey. You got to buy one, Trent.
No, but he's going to send us a jersey.
NFLshop.com, Trent.
Well, but he's going to send us a jersey.
Right. One of only 13 men to have a 99-yard touchdown.
Yeah, NFL record.
NFL record, yep.
And then just remember Hastings College, him and the Rusher kid, we were really good in the late 90s. We had 2 6'5" receivers with the college Broncos. And my favorite one is that him or Rusher wasn't supposed to play against Doane. Dad and I go over and sit on the visiting side. And it's funny because either one of them, I can't remember if it was it was Boerigter. Boerigter wasn't even supposed to play in the game. Mm-hmm. They hit him. I guess he comes out and they have to tell him to get back in the locker room. He steps on the field and catches the late touchdown pass. And the guy didn't even think he could run because he had hamstring problems or something. But
he was fast.
And then he plays in Canada for a while.
Yeah.
And gets on the Chiefs.
Canadian football, played for the Chiefs, played for the Packers. Hey, I remember his coming out party at Hastings High. Because, I mean, he was an okay player. He was an okay player. He was an important part of the team, but he was not a star. And then we went over to Holdridge one day. You remember that? We go over to Holdridge to play.
Yeah, he had a big game.
And was it Coach still Coach Olson?
Yeah, Olson would have been there. It was 96.
Just starts splitting him out. He's 95. Been a tight end.
Yeah.
They just start splitting him out like the Army lonely end and just running him up the field, and Holdridge can't guard him. And he's just scoring in big plays and scoring in big plays. Just dominated that football game.
That was probably 95 in between the success. I don't think he was with Vince in 96.
No, he would have graduated by then.
Yeah, when Bo's kid. So it's probably a 95 team. I don't think I remember that. So.
It was 95, and I tell you, it was very few times I've seen one person dominate a football game like he dominated that day. Football just isn't built for one guy to take over.
Yeah, well, but when you're 6'5" and you can run like a deer, and you ended up being 225, 230. So.
And Steve Jones throwing to you.
Yeah.
All right. Who we got next? Oh, how about this guy?
This
Stephen
NFL
Gooden wore
guy.
89 for the Tigers. He's the last Tiger to play in the NFL, right, Trenner?
Yeah.
The last Tiger to play in the big leagues pro-wise. He's our last.
Yeah, I think
on the
so.
list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Played several games for the Giants, stuck around for them on and off the practice squad. Was a great player over at UNK. Climbed to the pros. Great kid, great family. A lot of good Goodens coming through here.
Yeah, good family.
All right. I think that's our last number. No, we got one more. Oh, I forgot. There's my pick for 89.
Yeah, that's my 89.
The stick man.
Grant.
Doug Grant.
All state. I don't know if he's basketball, yeah.
Yeah. Pretty dang good football player, wide receiver, and safety on a team that wasn't so good. 0-9 his senior year, but that was a team playing a lot of sophomores who would win state championship 2 years later.
So he played in the first November football game in many years at Hastings High the year before.
Yeah, that snow game. Yeah, that was his senior year.
Oh, that
was his last
91.
game.
Yeah, you're right.
That was his last game. Doug Brandt, a doctor now. I think he's in Arizona still.
Yeah, the last I knew when he came back for alumni, I think he's.
Well, I thought you followed everybody on social media. I thought you knew all that stuff.
No, I don't follow everybody.
What's the word on Papa Ray's Pizza, Trent? We're going to have a new segment at the end of every show.
Well,
you tell me some good news about Papa Ray's Pizza.
They're trying to reopen out at the whatever they call the new mall, the theater district. She wants to reopen out there. So
all right, well, fingers crossed. Papa Ray's Pizza.
One of my favorite coaches, Mike Leach, the Mississippi State coach, passed away, and he was one of my favorites. He appeared in the Friday Night Lights. I was just watching that when Coach Chandler was sad, or he was having a tough time in season 4, and he's like,
"He's at the gas station.
You're swinging your sword down. You got to swing it up. You gotta get your inner pirate out." So that was
college football is going to be less fun without the pirate.
Yeah.
All right, Trent. In honor of your birthday tomorrow, everybody at Hastings High who's watching this, who sees Trent, I want you to say his go-to tagline that he always says at the end of the show. What are you going to say, Trent?
I'm going to say go Tigers, but now I'm going to say ho, ho, ho.
Go Tigers, everybody. We're done for Christmas holiday, and we'll see you after the break. Have a Tiger Christmas.
Excellent.